Hey, John, what's your full name? What do you do? And what is your problem?
Well, Steve, I am John Bowen, and we've been friends for a number of years. But beyond that, I do a few other things too. I have the privilege of coaching top financial advisors and those aspiring to be top financial advisors here in the US, but all over the world. And we've weathered the storm pretty well for the pandemic. Obviously, it's touched so many lives, and certainly 800,000 of our fellow Americans. But we build out virtual training and coaching programs around the world. And for some reason, Steve, there's been a big demand for that. I don't know what caused it here, type thing. And the problem, it's not so much of a problem, but a challenge. And you and I haven't talked in a while, and I know you're doing some amazing thing with your media company and so on. And in the process of restarting additional communication channels. So currently what I'm doing is I'm going ahead and a fellow friend of ours, Nick Nanton, we've gone ahead and created a internet TV show. I have two of my teammates doing it. We call it the $1 Million Advisor Show. It's helping advisors, really race up what we call the hierarchy of advisor success and be even more successful while they're serving their clients and net over $1 million a year. And we have webinars, we have one-day events, 3-day virtual events. We do direct to advisors, as well as we have the privilege of doing it with some of the largest financial service firms. And one of the media partners I have approached me and said, John, you ever think about doing a podcast? And you might remember maybe 5 or 6 years ago,
had one.
I got together and did one. I did about 250 of them in an entrepreneurial business. And I'm about ready to kick it off on the financial service side, interviewing both industry experts as well as outside. And you've done some amazing things, Steve. And I thought, boy, this would be, why don't I do it right and go out and talk to a few of my friends, what they've been doing and how they've made it work, both, through the last couple of years as well as beyond.
So you're putting your podcast out there. Can I ask a few questions to get a little bit more clarity on this?
Certainly.
If you're going to put a podcast out there, who is the audience for that podcast? That's the first question.
Okay. Yeah. So we have the privilege of working with financial advisors who are netting over 200,000 a year of income. Typically, the ones who start with us between 500,000 and $1 million. So they're very successful. They're doing wealth management, and they're looking at, how can they be even more successful? They're providing a great message, advice beyond simply investing, and they want to know how they can grow their business in today's marketplace.
So the podcast is going to go out to people currently within your family, within your community.
No. So the community. So this will, certainly we won't say if you're already working with us, you can't listen to it, but it will go out to through a media partner. So there's roughly 400,000 financial advisors in the US, a little more than that. And, about 80,000 are qualified to be our clients. And so we'll be marketing there as in a classic thought to inspire them to take action, let them know that they don't need to do it alone. They could, accelerate their success even more by working with a group like ours.
That's what I wanted to clinch. So the podcast isn't going out to people that already know you and love you. It will go out to those, but it'll also be out there in the ether for people that have never heard of you, that will stumble upon you or through marketing, through amplification, to then suddenly go, hey, John can help me expand my reach faster. So it's going out to both of those networks.
Yes.
All right. Okay. I've been watching a lot. The podcast industry has gone crazy. We both know that, it's gone absolutely nuts, and there's no saturation, and there is no end in sight for how many new podcasts are going out, because for every 100 podcasts that get launched every day, probably people have got bored and 200 have stopped. So there's a constant cycle going on.
Well, and so many of the people who start podcasts get bored or just lose energy.
And here's a couple of the reasons for that boredom. One of the reasons for them getting bored is they interview industry experts in that sandpit. And what I have noticed, and what I think has been the benefit of mine as well as other people that have followed or led a similar strategy, because, I only started, 2 years ago, 3 years ago, 2.5 years ago. So I wasn't exactly one of the newbies, but it's usually good to keep your enthusiasm as a host alive by finding people that are not in your sandpit. Because as both me and you can usually get a phenomenal answer to your problem from someone that's got nothing to do with your industry because they've got a different set of eyes. So to keep you more excited, that's the first tip. Get people outside of your sandpit. Secondly, to get the audience inspired, getting viewpoints from outside of the industry, fresh perspective, not looking at the same problem in the same frame as everyone else, also gets people excited. So within the podcast world, you've also, I think, got to start, and you were already ahead of this, make sure it's video. Now, a lot of the platforms now are supporting video podcasts, and it's only going to get bigger.
Yeah, and the one thing, I mean, when I look at it, we help advisors, and I work with some of our mutual friends, and it's so easy to turn on video and have so many different interesting things, and then you can use derivative products of it, where you can certainly strip out audio for audio only and syndicate that, and have the video even cut up. We call them stackable into little pieces that you can post in the social media to create interest. So no, very much aligned. I started doing my podcast was video, I think like 7 years ago, maybe something like that when I did it. We did 250 episodes, and quite honestly, getting on camera like you and I are today, so much easier than it was then, but it's always been easy. You might as well do a video because you never know when you're going to use it, type thing.
And that's right. And it's very hard to do audio and then try to kind of like add something to it. But if you've got the video, you're right. You've got the stripping that you can do the audio only on a podcast on an audio only receiver. But then you've also got all the assets of the video to be able to chop up into under 60-second clips for everything from Facebook to Instagram and TikTok and anything else that pops up. In fact, TikTok now I think is up to 3 minutes. You can actually post a clip on there now. And TikTok's still got a larger consumption than YouTube, which I still find startling. But, TikTok is a great advocate for podcasts that lead it back into watching the full episode. So, continue to do the video, but definitely get outside experts. And the theme's going to be what they're learning within marketing, communication, branding, within the financial world.
Well, one of the things we do and we work on, I'll just put it up on screen for a second here, is, we've segmented the marketplace into different levels of income and the type of clients they work with. And one of the things I'm a big believer, and I know you are too, is let's not screw around. We might as well go right up to the top. And so it will be always sharing what are these advisors who are doing $1 million in net income each and every year, consistently, while doing a great job for their clients. What are they doing? Now, that doesn't mean I'm going to just interview advisors. And when I did a series called AES Nation, it was all about accelerating entrepreneurial success. And you were one of the 250 or so that I did. And I always did everybody outside the financial services industry. You and I met in a mastermind group because, and I've always spent about $100,000 a year on mastermind groups. So I just want to, I know what's going in our industry. We do all kinds of research, everything, with advisors and related professionals. What I want to see is what's working outside and then bring it to them so that they can and also translate it, because we can bring it into the industry, kind of conversation, what they're looking to do as well.
Yeah, that's going to give them the conversations. A lot of people out there, are selling like for like by you actually bringing in some fresh information, some fresh perspective. You're no longer becoming, like a podcast. You're now becoming a source. You're actually providing them with information, engagement, and giving them a resource of growth. Now, you're very successful in your field, but what I do like is the fact that you're looking at branching out to get to those people that haven't realized you're the best bet for that growth yet.
But we're trying some new things too, Steve. And I haven't shared this with you, but one of the, you have a call to action. So, in our case, it's a strategy session, not very uncommon for financial or for really any professional service, and certainly our coaching organization. But we're doing it really different. If they qualify and they meet the minimum of $200,000 in net income, I'll actually send them an Oculus Quest 2 goggles, and we'll take them to our secret headquarters on Mars. It's our research facility, and we'll walk them through. I mean, matter of fact, let me just put up, this is one of the internal shots. This is 2D, obviously, but you can go through and we share all our research and so on, and we'll walk through. And I'm sure you've been in VR, but it's so immersive. We're using it a lot. I've already taken 200 advisors through, and the response has been phenomenal. So we're continuing on that. So having fun. I always I'm 66. I'm kind of the old guy. I used to be the young guy in the room, but we're going to have a little fun as we're doing all this stuff, and really make an impact.
So I don't know of any other financial advisory firm in the planet using a VR walkthrough. So
well, and all our coaching clients beginning in April, we're giving them a virtual family office, their own. It'll be customized to them. We already have it built. We've been taking people through, but we're going to have that, and they can put it in any major city. And I know the world. Actually, it's an office like this, and the skyline here is Dubai, and this is the office, and it's all set up. It's pretty amazing what you can accomplish in these things, and you can bring clients, you can bring centers of influence, you can bring families from all over the world together and sit down at a table and have a conversation. It's about 80% there. A good friend of ours, mutual friend, Peter Diamandis, has been trying to get me to do VR for a whole bunch of years. And I think it's no longer bleeding edge, it's leading edge. So, have fun doing this stuff. And so that's why I want to get this message out, and help advisors really race up that hierarchy of advisor success.
So how are you reaching out to new advisors that don't know about you yet? Reaching out to the ones that love you, that's dead easy. But how are you reaching out to the newbies?
Well, it's always funny. And we get all of us, it's easy to get egotistical. We've been in the industry for a long time and everybody knows us. And I'm constantly reminded that's not the case. And I've had this company for 20 years, and 26 years before that, I was a very successful advisor. And so what I've done is I've partnered with one of the number one publication in the industry, Financial Advisor magazine. And we're not sure the frequency, whether it'll be once a week or once a month. I got to decide what level. I'll probably go a little faster in the beginning. And they're going to, not only they're going to send it out to all their readers, which is over 100,000 each time, but then we'll have an article on the interview. And you might remember I had a deal with Huffington Post at the time. Yeah, we would write it up and have the show notes, and then it would also go across all our different groups and so on. We have a group that of 70,000 advisors, like in LinkedIn, and then elsewhere, the different platforms and so on. Unfortunately, advisors aren't very much on TikTok, so that's not going to be, we're going to go where they are type thing, but a multi-pronged approach of, just sharing insights. And it's we're there not to sell, we're there to serve. And for those that want to go where speed's important, we'll be able to help them.
No, I know. Look, you mentioned Peter Diamandis. We both love and respect the guy there. And he would always tell you never to miss out on an opportunity, as on the VR. I'm gonna challenge you with your remark there on TikTok. Just imagine if you could have got into Facebook when it was early. Just imagine if you could have got into YouTube when it was early and wasn't saturated. And before you sit there, for all of those people listening, and go, TikTok is where 19-year-old girls do, dance moves. Think what Facebook was at the beginning and what it is now. It's the largest business marketing platform in the planet. Okay. Yeah, it used to be for college kids to hook up. TikTok is changing. I would definitely say if you're cutting up and, as you say, releasing stackable information to plaster across any other forms of social marketing, get in a TikTok, grab your company name today, and then just start sharing that information. You may be slow at start, but you'll be amazed at how many financial advisors. I've seen a big boom in the real estate industry using TikTok. So don't let
And
that
the
pass you by.
incremental cost is so low of doing any of these things once you've created the assets type
Well,
thing. So I
yeah,
will do that.
and it's a zero fee membership to be on TikTok, but also you don't want some idiot to actually take your company name on TikTok, and when it explodes, you've now got to be your company name -123. So grab your real estate ASAP, whether you use it or not. That's a point of discussion down the line for you to have. But I would say if you've got the asset for social that shows a clip of your pedigree and your information, then throw it up on TikTok. Takes no more than 1 second if you've already done the asset to load it up.
Yeah, and we, unfortunately, I've got some young people. We've grabbed the real estate of all the platforms right
Good.
now. So, and I have accounts and everything. I don't think I've ever turned on that, or I haven't ever sent a tweet type thing. But we do have that we use for promotional stuff and really getting the content, sharing insights out there.
Well, the beautiful thing about social compared to the financial advisor, and this is another thing that always makes me smile, people will be very, very quick to actually pay for advertising, but they'll be very, very slow to do something that's free. Social platforms are free of charge. If you've got the asset, it costs you zero to post them on your Facebook, your TikToks, your IGs, any of those kind of things. So, you get a lot of people that will suddenly go away and go, hey, I want a good ROI. Here's $1,000. Get a VA. Get a VA out in the Philippines to plug it all over the social for you, so you don't have to worry about it and spend a third of your marketing budget with more effort on social.
Yeah, the thing that I've found is that doing the media partnerships, we do it on a contingency fee too, which is different. That I haven't convinced Facebook to do that for me yet. No. But the idea that, and then the social, there's so many automation. I think we use, I'm not the tech guy, but Hootsuite. So it's all automated anyway. So it's not that hard to do it across platforms.
No, and if you find there are agencies out there, I know we're one of them, Shallow Plug there, that will actually use these different kind of automation agents to get it out onto all platforms. So I love the fact that you're doing video. I would urge you to maybe follow your younger generation within your company. As you say, you've got some younger people with you.
Yeah, like the TV show I have, I decided not to do it. And so I have the classic 40-year-old guy and gal that are, two very, I don't want to, just because they're young, they're still pretty smart type thing. They're doing it with Nick, and it's already a huge success, $1 Million Advisor show.
Perfect. So you're using the different platforms. What else could you be doing that's slightly out of the box within your industry?
Well, ours is a fairly conservative industry. So, one of the things that, and another friend, mutual friend, Paul Culligan.
Yeah.
I think Paul, Steve.
Paul, I think, is fantastic. I love Paul.
Yeah. And Paul was kind enough to kind of give me some ideas as well. And one of the things is using a platform. One of the, so some of the old podcasts that I did are, I have 100, 200,000 views. Okay. That's great. But the call to action that I did at the time, I'm not doing anymore. So it's, it's nice. The information's out. There's some credibility, marketing and all that, but I'm really big on kind of direct response. You want to have the people be clear what you do and what the next step is. And, now there are platforms where you can go ahead, and we'll be doing this, where, let's say at the end, we have a call to action. Well, we could change this every single one every day. So we're running a lot of video conferences, 1-day and 3-day events, and 2-day actually. And we're doing certainly a lot of webinars and then our TV show. So the ability to promote different things by simply pushing a button and having it automated, so that we have the call to action is just huge. And that's one of the things I'm excited about, and what got me going again. I'm going, geez, that way this can be evergreen and the content can be evergreen, but we can then have a clear call to action that's extremely timely. Like, let's say we're doing a virtual event, a Christmas fun party. You could say, join us tomorrow at such and such, and hit this link, and it would show, it would be populated across all the assets.
It's incredible how many people are not clear with the appropriate CTA, or they will be so vague, or they will send it to a location where the person's got to do the digging around. So an appropriate, accurate, real simple to understand CTA. And for any of you out there going, what the hell's a CTA? Call to action. For any of you out there, you need to make sure that this is crystal clear what you need the person to do that's listening, but also what the benefit is for them to actually go and do. And you've always been very good at that, but I understand what you're saying now. You can be a lot more current and accurate with your CTA.
Yeah, one of the things in designing any marketing campaign, you and I have talked about this before, it's kind of the premise of the promise. The premise is, whatever professional you're in or whatever you're offering, what's going on in that marketplace today. In our case, a lot of financial advisors have done exceptionally well because the market's at all-time high. And there's been an explosion of wealth with the affluent, between the equity in the market, the real estate, the business valuations. And then, so what is going to compel? What's in it for them? That's the promise part. So the premise is what's happening. The promise,
yes,
for advisors is that, in a recent study we did, Steve, of successful entrepreneurs, 70% are concerned they outgrew their financial advisors. So this is a great time for financial advisors to go out and get new business if they can provide value for those people who are concerned that, geez, maybe they're missing something, that fear of missing out. So when you do a call to action, we've got to be able to communicate that effectively, what we're bringing that's going to help them be even more successful, and a pathway of how they can get those insights in a way that's going to be valuable. It's always what's in it for the other guy, as much as
that's
our
imperative.
own self-interest first, but that doesn't work too well.
I'm loving it. I'm loving it. So I love the fact that you're trying new things. I think the VR within your field is absolutely phenomenal. It's novel, it's interesting, it's engaging, and it is completely fresh and also topical. The metaverse is here. You're creating
Facebook is putting $10 billion the next year in, or not Facebook, Meta. Platform.
Exactly.
Yeah, well, and Steve, I took yesterday, the day before, I took a senior executive of one of the largest financial service firms in the country through, and he had never been in VR. And I walked him through the various campuses we have and so on, and shared him the research and how we're using it to help his advisors be even more successful. And if you think about it, me walking, asking him to do an hour PowerPoint presentation over Zoom, it would never happen. By going through the VR, I was able to share so much and inspire action. And we're already setting up the next meeting and how, who else should be involved, so we can kind of figure out what we should do together. And that's where, doing something different. I mean, one of the things I still remember when we first got together, in a business setting where I had you come and speak to my group. And this is before you were the big star. I think it was one of the earliest speaking engagements. And you go, John, should I get dressed up a bit for financial advisors? And I said, no, be you, because only you can be you. And, it was a great one. People really appreciated it. And people want experiences. They want to work with authentic people, and, getting that across in whatever we're doing is, one of the biggest challenges, but to make sure we do it.
Well, I'm pleased you're doing it. I love the fact that you're focusing on authenticity as well as clarity. You marry those two together and you remove confusion. So, congratulations on that. Hey, we're at our time. John, I want to thank you for being a part of the Sims Distillery. Thank you very much for taking the time to go through different ideas of marketing and branding, and trying things differently outside of the box. Where is the VR? Did you say it's on the moon or something? You've got that office?
Well, so you know Elon. I've raced car with Elon, and I wanted to do one thing better than him. So I'm taking people to Mars before he.
You're on Mars. You're on Mars
so we're
already.
going to Mars. I put it, and you can put them anywhere, obviously, type thing. I'm spending less money than Elon is on it, but no, Steve, I will. I will follow up with you and send you. Do you have Oculus, or I'll send you a pair and I'll take you on a little trip.
I look forward to that. Thanks a lot, John. Look after yourself.
Yeah, thank you very much for the advice and the partnership.
Hey, this is Steve Sims, and I hope you liked that episode of Being Coached by Steve Sims. Subscribe over here, watch some other cool videos over here, or for your chance to be coached by me for the YouTube series, join here at simsdistillery.com.